It's serious. Something's going on this car. I would go ahead and buy a set. I gotta kinda pick one of the two. We need 5 wheels because... Hey, welcome back to Freeman's Garage. It's another day working in the garage on the 1956 Chevrolet 210 Club Coupe. And we gotta get this car ready for wheels and tires. I'm not 100% sure yet which wheels and tires are going on our 56 Chevy here. We'll get into that very shortly here. But we gotta at least get this car prepped before we can get wheels and tires on this thing. And I am chomping at the bit for that. I wanna see this car sitting on the ground. Now the front of the car, we don't have to do anything up there. That's ready to go. If we had the wheels and tires we want to run on this car, we could just bolt them right on. But the back's a different story. We need to re-torque the U-bolts for our rear axle. I'll explain in very shortly here why we got to re-torque those. We got to get our backing plates on for our brakes on both sides, and then we got to get the brakes themselves on each side. And then our axle shafts with our brand new wheel bearings that are on there, we got to slide those in on each side. Let's get all this work done on the back of the car here. And as soon as it's done, we can start to converse a little bit about wheels and tires. We're even going to do some measuring on some wheels that are right here inside Freeman's garage. So in a previous video, when we bolted the rear axle to our leaf springs with our brand new U-bolts, we just cranked the nuts down real tight, which is not an uncommon practice and is completely acceptable. But I was perusing through the 1956 service manual specifically for this rear axle, and it was talking about over tightening the U-bolts and causing distortion with the axle tube and the inside diameter of our flange here, where our brand new wheel bearing is going to sit inside of. We've talked a little bit about the distortion issue here on Freeman's Garage in a previous video with this car. But what I didn't realize is that the service manual actually calls for a torque spec of 45 to 55 foot-pounds for these nuts. The manual also suggests that basically, if you're going to put in, if you got brand new wheel bearings and you're putting your axles back in, you should measure this inside diameter with something like an inside micrometer or a piece of bore stock or whatever you might have at your disposal, and make sure that you're around here and that your bearing's going to fit properly and you're not going to have oil leaking past. But the manual also does pretty much say that if you know that your U-bolt nuts are torqued to 45 to 55 foot-pounds, then there's no reason to measure this inside diameter. So let's grab a torque wrench, and in a second here I'll tell you what torque we're actually going to torque these to. And let's get a 5/8 socket, and let's get the angle grinder because we need to chop these bolts down a little bit, which we were going to do anyways, but the socket, there's no way it's going to fit on here properly with all this excess. Beautiful, beautiful. That's perfect. All right, now let's back these nuts off and then torque them the spec. So, what I'm hoping for here is that, just moving that angle grinder, I'm hoping that these nuts loosen up pretty easily here. Because I remember we cranked them down pretty good. Oh, wait a second, these are 5/8, right? Oh, they're not. Are they 11/16? Okay, hold on. Be right back. Well, that don't seem right. What's going on here? Are we in the twilight zone? Five eighths. I don't remember it being that sloppy for 11/16. Am I losing my mind? I think I'm losing my mind. What's going on here? All right. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's not 5/8. Don't know. Well, why is it 11/16? So, why is that so sloppy? No, I don't remember that in the video when we installed all of this. Well, I guess it is. It's just one of those things, I guess, where, I don't know, it's not really what I'm thinking. I need to just forget about it and just continue on with the job. Yeah, see, there's no way that was 45 to 55 foot-pounds. That's way too tight. Now, is this inside diameter all distorted? And our axle, or our new wheel bearings and O-ring that it goes around our wheel bearing not going to seal? I don't know. But, you know, that's why we're just backing these things off. It's not a lot of work to do it. Just back them off, and then we'll just torque them to, we'll go 50. Kind of a rule of thumb, I guess. You know, in most industries, torque specs kind of shoot for the middle. You know, so the torque spec is 45 to 55. Well, we'll set it. We'll do 50. I'm still just loosening them up a little bit. I'm kind of curious as to, you know, what the torque was. You know, before we start loosening these up here. You know, did we crank them down to 80 foot-pounds or what? But I don't know. I don't think it's really worth the time to dig around on that. I don't know. You're the pilot here. You know, you let me know if you like things in great detail, then let me know and I can, you know, tailor the videos here in Freeman's Garage towards your liking. I mean, you're half the reason why I'm even making videos anyways, so, you know what I mean? So, I'm constantly trying to make videos more and more enjoyable and watchable for you and me both, because I watch them all too. While I was yapping, I wasn't paying attention. I don't know, I set it to 55 foot-pounds when that's not what we were going to do. We were going to set it to 50, right? 45 to 55, and we're going to do 50. You want to know what song just started playing in my head? You might think I'm crazy. We're loosening them up pretty good. I guess we'll just snug them up a little. I'm not one to You know, I'm not a big supporter of actually doing work with a torque wrench. You know, a lot of wrenching on things with them. But in this situation, I think this is not abusing the torque wrench too much. It's all about that calibration, you know. Wow, you know, we actually might have been around 50 foot-pounds before we started. You know what, we will take a second to check the nuts on the other side before we loosen them up or do whatever we're gonna do with them, because we might be wasting our time backing the nuts off. All right, torque time. Okay, so that's 50. And yes, we do have a very short adapter on here. And yeah, I really do believe that through extensions and adapters, you do lose some torque. It can affect your actual torque value. But that's not much of an extension, and this car's not leaving the ground. Well, it might, but we're not actually going to be, you know. What I'm saying is this is not an aircraft, all right? So this torque really doesn't matter. I'm just hitting them all again, just to make sure. We're just having fun and going by the 1956 manual. And plus, it probably is going to help us avoid leaking oil out of here. You never know. There might have been or are people that have dealt with or are dealing with leaking issues out of here on these axles, and they fight it forever and they talk to everybody they know and they can't figure it out, and it turns out that, well, the secret is torque spec. It's possible, so that's why we're doing it. Alright, so now let's get our backing plate on, and then we'll put our brake parts on, and then we slide the axle in, and hopefully that goes smooth. Let's clean this hardware up real quick, and then we'll throw the backing plate on. And technically, this bolt here should be one of these, but this is the way that this 56 Chevy was when we got it after sitting since the 70s. So the previous owner that drove it to high school in the 70s, this is what he had on there, and I am fine with that. In the future, at any point, if we want to swap that out for one of these, we can find one and we can just swap it out real easy. You know what? I did it again. I keep plugging the parts washer in and not the drill press. There we go. Yeah! Let's do it! Since we're already rocking and rolling right here, I might as well just knock out all the hardware for the driver's side too. 2 birds, 1 stone. Alrighty, that took about, oh, we actually got some wind here. Almost blew the door right into you. You know what? Let's go over here and chit chat, because if this wind wants to start coming through here, we're letting it through. If it wants to pull the heat out of this building, we're gonna let it do it. All right, that took about 15-20 minutes to get all that cleaned up. And here's the funny thing I noticed when we were cleaning all that up. So this is the passenger side hardware, and of course you've already seen that these three are real, okay? And then this is just some random bolts somebody threw in sometime in the 70s. And that's all fine thread, and then this is coarse thread. And here's the, is this it? Yeah, this is the coarse thread nut that they had on this bolt. And the threads are kind of chewed up, and it doesn't want to, I've fought with it, it doesn't want to thread on properly. So now here I'm going to get to my point. I even just showed you this. Here's the hardware that I cleaned up for the driver's side. I didn't realize that we only had 2 of these guys. So we're short on hardware no matter what here. So we might as well just toss that in the nut and bolt bin, and we'll use what we have today to secure backing plates in place. And in a future video, we will find, well, how many are we missing here? 4 minus 10 times 3. Okay, x to the 29. Okay, yeah, so we're missing 3. So we'll source 3 original bolts. I'm pretty sure that our missing bolts are not in the car anywhere. If they are, they would be in that box right there. It's been way too long since I've even stuck my head on the inside of this car, and I really want that enjoyment right now. So let's get this fender off so this door can open. We'll take a look in that box. This is a great excuse to go in here. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I love that smell. I love it. Oh. Well, here's a harmonic noise dampening spring for our brake drums, which I think we're going to have to find some of those in the future video as well. Well, come on in with me. Alrighty. Let's see here. Well, we might as well take a detour at the pinstripe dash. It's been a while, huh? Boy, I cannot wait to do the interior of this car. Alright, I don't remember what's in here. But if we're looking for is here, it's going to be in this box. Well, or that Planters gallon-sized peanut can, dang it, which I don't think I'm going to be able to reach that. It's for a dome light. Okay, well, we got window stuff. I see a lot of shims in here. Oh, for you Dakota folks, remember this car did come from North Dakota, and Freeman's Garage has a shop location in North Dakota, as well as Texas, where we are at right now. And I am not seeing anything. Well, shims, we're going to need those for our fenders. Well, these look more like for control arms, don't they? Suspension stuff. In you go. In you go. In you go. Okay, well, I just went on my belly and went deep in there to get this peanut can. Let's hope it was worth it. Oh, isn't it? You know what? This is all the stuff that we found in the trunk in a video here in this car in Freeman's garage a long time ago. You know, there's a silverware set out there somewhere today, still missing that. Oh boy, is this worth dumping out? I forgot there was a good can opener in there. I could use that. Is this worth dumping out? No. Let's not be a baby, because if what we're looking for is in here, it's going to be worth it. I mean, are we really going to go crawl around in a junkyard when what we need is right here? Maybe. Although it'd be cool to crawl around in a junkyard. Never complain about that. Well, nothing. So, let's carry on. We're going to hold our backing plate in place with just one bolt for right now. And that's just to hold our backing plate out of our way while we install the axle. Just keeps it from falling into our work area. And plus, the 4 bolts that hold the backing plate on are the same 4 bolts that go through this flange on our axle. Because this has been sitting around for a little bit now on the garage floor here at Freeman's Garage, I'm going to just wipe any dust or debris that might be on here. Just wipe it off. And all the videos of removing the old wheel bearings and installing these new ones, as well as these wedding rings on here, it's all linked down in the video description. In previous videos, the purpose for this gasket is explained and everything, and in great detail in previous videos. Service manual calls for lubricating the O-ring on the outside of our new wheel bearing before assembly. I'm just going to dab some oil on it. Doesn't matter what it is. This happens to be motorcycle oil. Who cares? Does not matter. Lubricate the seal. 1956 Chevy axle shaft with brand new wheel bearing, wedding ring, and wheel studs, all painted up, prettied up, going back in. This is a big moment. A big moment. That's what point we're at right there. The first O-ring is on the edge of the flange, and it looks like the splines of our axle shaft have engaged. Now it's all about beating it senselessly into submission. No, I'm kidding. We'll be easy on it. She'll go right in, no problems. I'm gonna hire a wino to decorate our home. Alright, we are in a little bit. That was easy. It doesn't seem like we ruined anything. So let's keep going. Does that sound like we're all the way in? Looks like we might be. Pretty sure we're in all the way. Let's verify that. But I think we could start getting our hardware in. The cool thing is you really can't put the axle in too far because the side of the bearing hits a wall. And go back into earlier in the video before we slid this axle in to take a look at that inside the end of the axle, or I'll just show you. I'll show you real quick when we get over to the driver's side. Heck yeah, man! Think about it. Right now we are wrenching on a 56 Chevy. The Tri-5, how awesome is that? I'd love to be mixing some driving in with that wrenching, but it all takes time. Well, and money. Heck yeah. Awesome. Little things like touch-up paint on stuff like this can and will be done in future videos. There's always going to be some loose ends to tie up, you know. Alright, let's grab everything that we're going to need for the driver's side. And we might as well go over there and just get that axle in. Because we just did the one here on the passenger side, so we're rocking and rolling. So let's just keep it going, and then once that axle's in, then we'll do both the brake parts for both sides, back to back. Why not? It's just the flow that we kind of went into, so whatever, man. Just getting it done, having fun in the garage. Let's do it. Let's see if these are at 50 foot-pounds or more. If I can find a good spot for my leg to go. No, they're not. They're not even at 50. Or that one's not anyways. Let's go to this one. Oh, come on, sweetheart. Get on there. There we go. There we go. See, that one's not either. Wow, so we cranked those. See, that one is. We'll back that one off. So we cranked these things down pretty good, and they weren't even at 50 foot-pounds. Well, maybe we need to hit the weight room. Maybe we need to start pumping some iron, huh? Okay. Yowza. Whoops. We don't want to over torque that. I think we'll be fine. It's not a space shuttle. I mean, you never know. There might be a rocket or a jet engine of some type attached to this vehicle. I mean, probably not, but I'm not going to rule it out. Just want to make sure we're good all the way around. Okay. 50. 50. 50. 50. Perfect. I'm going to set my torque wrench down to the minimum torque. There it is, 20 foot-pounds. I'm going to store away this torque wrench with no tension on the spring inside. Because you know, it's all about that calibration. I'm actually going to go put this in its storage case back in the toolbox as well. That way it don't get dropped. Alright, you know the drill. Third verse, same as the first. That's the wall, I guess you could call it. I was talking about why you really can't put the bearing on, or the axle in too far, because the side of your bearing's hitting that. So, alright, let's get this thing in. That's done, but I didn't really tighten our two bolts that we have for the side down all the way, just because with only putting two in, this hole and then that hole, you know, I don't want to crank these down all the way, and then when we get two more of these and we stick them in those holes, if it's not lined up perfectly, we're just gonna have to loosen these ones up anyways, right? So, but that's fine for now. Let's get our brakes on here on the driver's side, and we'll throw them on the passenger side, and then we can talk about tires and wheels. This is our lever that our parking brake cable connects to. We need to bolt this onto our brake shoe like snow. There we go. I'm using 11/16 on that side, and a 9/16 on the nut side. Yes sir, yes ma'am, and Bob's your uncle. Alright, time to put the puzzle together. It's not that much stuff, but you do have to know how it all goes on. Well, I think we will kick the partay off with our wheel cylinder, and we do still need to do a junkyard crawl for 2 push pins. That'll be in a future video. I think I've been talking about that for a long time. Eventually we will get to that. What I like to do at this point is take our star wheel here, if you will. It's going to go towards the front in this case. I like to get that on and this spring on, and then that way you can pick up these two shoes connected together, because if you put them up here and then you try getting this stuff on, it's about 10 times more of a pain. Or is it 10 times the fun? Let's set this up here. And my back is starting to hurt from sitting like this. So that's not cool. Let's put our spreader bar in. We got a curve on it. We're going to send the curve towards the back because the parking brake lever that the spreader bar needs to go onto is behind the brake shoe, so it only makes sense that it would have to curve, right? So we got our brake shoes up on the shoe guide. Where is our shoe guide plate? Here it is. Now I think it's bent a little bit, which is okay. It still serves its purpose, right? And now, gosh darn it, don't fall apart on me yet, son. We gotta get our, well, you know, we really didn't need to put that shoe guide plate on yet, because the best thing to do is to get these pins in here, and that shoe guide plate might just fall out. Okay, I'm going to use our fancy smancy tool here. Drum brake tools are linked below in the video description for some pretty sweet options if you need any. Sometimes they help out. Oh, we can't forget to put our spring on our spreader bar as well. So we'll do that in just a second here. Let's get our other pin in. There we go. Oh, hold on. You know what? You know what, spreader bar? Spreader bar and shoe guide plate, just get out of here. Alright? I don't know why I even spent any time on you yet. Completely unnecessary. Especially when the parking brake lever gets in the way. Okay, so now that's on there. Okay. And we'll put that on there. These are cool little, our cool guy tool. We are in like Flynn. Why did you watch me put this all together and you didn't say anything when I put the adjuster on backwards? We need our little wheel here on our adjuster to be over here, so we got to flip this around because that wheel needs to line up with this access hole here in our backing plate, which we will put a little cover on here to keep dirt and debris out. But when you drive your 1956 Chevy daily, just like it's 1956, which we are going to, you take a tire spoon about once every 6 months or so, and you stick it through this hole, like so. And you adjust this wheel, because your brake shoes get, you know, thinner as you're using them. So you gotta spread this out. If you don't do that, eventually, you're not gonna have much for service brakes here in the rear. And it's not, I don't know, 1963 or so yet. We don't have self-adjusters. We are still in the land of do-it-yourself. So let's flip this around. Nothing like redoing work all over again. We're doing the same thing more than once here at Freeman's Garage. That's never happened before, right? Alrighty, let's finally finish putting this together. Let's put our spreader bar in, and our spring, I like to put it on this way. I've never been able to find a detailed image in a 1950 anything General Motors technical service manual. So I guess it probably doesn't matter. That's just the way I like to do it. Operator, like place a call. That's the way they say it goes. Go to your home. There you go, buddy. What's going on here? Why are we all out of shape? Okay, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. I was wondering. Alright, so this side's done. Now we gotta do the passenger side. And yeah, when we do get the push pins for this side, which would be nice if we had now, but we don't, all we'll have to do is just pop these two springs and we'll be able to get them in there. And that's alright, because, you know, having this together now, nothing's going to get lost and all the pieces are here in one place, and we'll be able to put bolt wheels and tires on. And plus, when we pop the new center links in, when we get those in there, we'll also maybe do a little bit of grease back here for the shoes to slide on. Now we just gotta repeat the same thing over here. Let's get the parking brake lever on here first thing, and then we'll knock it out. We'll be a lot quicker for this side. Less yapping is what I'm saying. You know, we'll just put the gosh darn thing together. You know, sometimes it gets a little chatty around here at Freeman's Garage. I just threaded this nut on, and then I saw the washer sitting here. There we go. There we go. Only lost a few seconds. I have a burning question. Oh, that's right. We weren't going to get chatty on this side, but I have to ask this burning question. Did the Seekers write their own songs? Georgia. This side's the opposite for the adjuster, because our access hole is more towards the back of the backing plate. You can see that's the back half of the backing plate, and this is the back of the car, unlike on the driver's side where the hole was over here. Here's one of our brake drums for the rear. The brake drums are not ready to go on. They need to be cleaned and painted, but that's alright because we don't even need those right now. We don't need them to put wheels and tires on. Plus, by the time that we have the actual wheels and tires that we want to put on the car, I'm sure we'll have those drums cleaned up, painted, and ready to go anyways. So that means this is all done. So now we get to finally talk about wheels and tires. In just a minute, I'll tell you why I rolled these 4 wheels and tires out. We've talked about wheels and tires for this car before in previous videos, but this time it's serious. Something's going on this car very soon. A while back, I posted a poll on the Freeman's Garage community tab asking you about wheels and tires for this car. Of course, the most expensive style of wheel, the Krager style wheel, came in at number 1. Slot mags weren't too far behind. Factory style steel wheels were way back in 3rd. And sadly, wagon wheels didn't make the podium. And a lot of you left a comment on that community tab poll giving some really cool alternative options. Krager's or a similar priced wheel would be awesome on this car, and I would go ahead and buy a set right now. But I'm going to go ahead and just tell you that that option's not even on the table right now because of how expensive they are. And the reason for that is because I am very close to buying a floor pan and trunk floor for this car, which is not cheap either. I gotta kind of pick one of the two, and if I blow that money on wheels, the car's going to be sitting in the garage even longer. But if I go ahead and go a little less expensive on wheels, and which would allow me to get the floor pan and trunk floor, we're going to be driving this car much sooner. Slot mags. I've seen authentic, vintage slot mags at swap meets before in the past that are 5 on 4 3/4, which is what we need for this 56 Chevy. And I've seen $150 for a set of 4. But this year I have not stumbled across any sets of those wheels in person. There's some floating around on eBay, for example. Ooh, man. People want not just an arm and a leg. They want both arms and both legs. Yes, it's true, I'm a bit of a cheap wad, but we still got to get this engine that I haven't shown you yet in the car. We still got to buy a transmission. We're probably going to be rebuilding whatever we buy. We need a drive shaft. The floor pan, like I said, is going to be a huge purchase. So instead of dropping close to 1,000 simoleons on wheels and tires, let's, look at a more affordable option so that we can have wheels and tires, but also do our floor and all that kind of stuff and actually get to driving this car this century. Now we're getting into why I brought these wheels and tires out here. An extra $1,000 isn't just gonna appear out of thin air. As we all know, money does not grow on trees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep looking for a set of authentic slot mags. I'm talking at least from the 70s. I'm going to keep looking for a set that I want to buy. But if I don't find that set in the next week or 2, we're going with factory style steel wheels and factory hubcaps. And if you're on the fence about that, well, just trust me. I'm going to do it right. If that's what ends up happening, they're going to look friggin' awesome on this car. Trust me. And the beauty of it is, if we want to change wheels in the future at any point in time for any reason, we can do it. This isn't cable television. There's no rules. We can do whatever we want. But I want to be ahead of the curve here and prepared because I have a feeling that we're not going to find those slotted mags soon enough. So these are the wheels and tires that were on our 56 Chevy when we bought it. And I want to see if any of these can work for us. Now, if we go the steel wheel route, I want the factory size wheel, which is a 15 by 5 wide, so 15-inch diameter, 5 inches wide, and a 562 thousandths offset. Without even putting a tape measure on these, that looks like a 14-inch wheel, that looks like a 14-inch wheel. That one might be, That one's definitely a 15. 1957 Chevys had 14-inch wheels, not our 56 though. So we're sticking with those 15s. And by the way, these tires look really old, not that one. Well, I mean, that's not really old, but older. These ones though look really old. Maybe sometime on the Freeman's Garage Extra channel, we should take a few minutes and just have some fun deciphering date codes on old tires and figure out how old these are. I bet you these are late 60s, early 70s. In the comments, let me know if you want to do something like that. We will. Okay, I do see... Okay, yeah, that's a 14. So that's not going to work for us. And this looks like the same tire. Okay, I do see 14 on it. So that's not going to work. That's amazing how nice a shape this old tire's in. Okay, this one here, the Sears snow tire. Man, I miss Sears. I really would like to look at the date code on this, man. What size is this? I think it's a 14. Okay, yeah, it is. It's a 14. So none of those will work. And by the way, we need 5 wheels because we want to be able to have a spare in the trunk, which, you know, that's one reason for, you know, if you stick with stock size wheels, you know, you can run a stock size tire or close to a stock size tire and it's going to be able to fit in the actual spare tire recessed area in the trunk of the car. Now I'm looking for a size on this. I don't see it. Where is it? Where are you, size? Let's flip you over. Yeah, okay, it is a 15. Okay. So we might be able to use this wheel. I think this is the correct offset. The only thing we need to do is verify the width, and that's not going to happen until we get the tire off of the rim. It's the end of the day and it's 106 degrees Fahrenheit in here right now, and that is not really necessary at the moment, so I am not going to start busting tires right now. I think you understand, but that is most likely a 5-inch wide wheel and will work for us if we do need it. I'm happy to have all that brake stuff knocked out. It feels good to have that taken care of. And you're updated on the wheel and tire sitch here. That's what I want to do next. Hopefully in the next week or two we've got wheels and tires on the car, whatever they may be. And then after that, well, I guess it can give you a little sneak peek if you haven't somehow gotten a sneak peek already. But so after wheels and tires, I want to get this engine ready to go in here. And it's going to look tiny in this ginormous engine compartment. That's the plan anyways. I'm working on it at a feverish pace. I am sick and tired of seeing this car sitting on jack stands. I'm sick of it. As always, thanks for liking, commenting, and sharing, because that's the only way Freeman's Garage is going to grow. And there's another video on the screen here I'll send you to watch next.